Good morning, evening, or afternoon, everybody. It's Kago coming at you with another video. So today, following yesterday's episode with Ebonheart and really talking about this subject, I realized something very particular, and that is that Blizzard is really asking a lot of questions towards the realm of, do we want war mode? Do we want cross-realm? Do we want exactly how the servers have been for 20 years? So they've really sort of are asking us, how much do we want to play together, and what links are we willing to go to make that happen? There are multiple questions in the survey that really highlight this point. So without further ado, I'm going to switch it over to the survey to show you this, and then we're going to talk about each and every one of them. So I'll see when we get there. So the first subject here, as you can see, is war mode, and obviously war mode says, as an alternative to PvP servers, this would allow you to opt into PvP in the open world via toggle in main faction cities. So very retail-esque approach, and it is a solution that exists, and I can't attest to how well it works or not, but it is something that I'm willing to explore in Classic, and we'll talk about it more for sure later on. Then the next question here, cross-realm play, ability to group with friends from other realms for dungeons, battlegrounds, and other instanced activities. So if that counts rating, that would be huge, and I think that would actually alleviate a lot of people's issues with being able to find people to play and do stuff. What would be interesting is how you really do that without being in a shared world. That would be weird. Like, is it just your Battle.net friends you can invite people to? Or would it be like you could see everyone sign up for like just full on looking for a group from retail? So that would be something to consider and really think about with what they would do with that. Then we also have cross-realm guilds. So allow yourself to have a cross-realm guild to do exactly that, invite each other. I'd imagine you would go to the host's world, so like if you're on a PvP and you invite a PvE player, they would come to the PvP server, something like that. So that begs the question, is this, like, do we want war mode? One mega server with war mode, which is what I would side with. I think it would be fun, and we will talk about the data that backs this up in a moment, but I think that would be the best solution, because WoW Classic is not attracting new players, and when we're taking on something massive like Classic Plus, new players are going to be key to that. Every single release of Classic WoW the past 5 years has done worse and worse and worse, and I think PvP servers being the most popular servers, definitely people want to go there to play with their friends, to play with their streamers, to play with, for whatever reason they go there. I think they go there more to play with people than they go there to PvP. And while PvP is a cornerstone of World of Warcraft, I do think that, you know, if the PvP philosophy and the people that the only counter argument I get is it would destroy PvP, no one would do it, and I argue to that, like, we've done it the same thing for 20 years and it's clearly not working to attract new players. New players are quitting in droves, new players aren't staying. We just have more of the same, and everything will die with more of the same. We need something to spice it up and be innovative. So one mega server with war mode could be that solution. Now, the other one, as we saw, is the cross-realm stuff. So going towards cross-realm so that people could have guilds, stuff like that. Or we just keep it same, one PvE, one PvP server, and go on. Cross-realm really explains itself. It doesn't take too hard. And if we take we had the 2019 Classic approach to this, so we're going to switch it over here and really dive into these statistics for a moment. So this is Cataclysm current raid populations. This is funny because every single PvP server has gone to one side. So we have Firemaw, Faralina, Gehinnis. This Russian PvP server actually has some alliance. Golemag, PvP, like whatever it is, European or US, every single PvP server has gone to a straight up one-sided faction. I will say that something very key in the 2019 version of the game is that they did not hard force faction balance, which is something we saw first in SOD and now in Anniversary. So I want to be very clear, they did not hard force this, but what we start to see is just everywhere goes to one side. They become 98, 99%. What I thought was even crazier is they asked players before going into Cataclysm if Benediction and Faralina wanted to merge to have that force balanced PvP for Benediction and Faralina, and I think that's just crazy. And they overwhelmingly said no. That is something we do not want. So people are on their PvP servers, but they are content with just being one-sided PvP. So that once again begs the question: do people really want that world PvP conflict? Like, do people actually want that, or are they there just to play with their friends? I think a small minority of people do want it, and they do enjoy it, but it's largely people who want to cause pain, suffering, and griefing. Like, that's all it has become in SOD, is how can I grief this person to the highest degree possible. And I don't think that that is a great philosophy for any game design, and all that leads to is people eventually quitting. Like, you can literally ruin someone's day for hours by spending hours killing them over and over and over again, and there is no escape. They can layer, but you can chase them. Or, right now in SOD, there's only one layer. So, like, if you really want to ruin someone's day, you can sit there till they log off. It's that ridiculous. Let's go over to Classic SOD. So on SOD, we see what Forced PvP has. So yes, the Forced PvP keeps people on the servers, and this is good. We have a good, healthy server balance. Crusader Strike is sort of leaning a little more Alliance than Horde, but that's whatever. Then over here we see it more, EU's pretty close, like way closer than the NA. And then what's really alarming is this right here is why a one server war mode would be great, because we see a massive alliance on the PvE and a massive wild growth PvE population, and then for the alliance, and then we do not see it reflected for the horde. So the horde is way smaller without PvP, and that is really interesting because especially in SOD we see the racials with the runes and everything. Like, Horde is actually more DPS and better than Alliance. Paladins and Shamans is the only difference. But the runes make Horde better, like, numerically for Berserking and Blood Fury. And so it's just really interesting to see that difference and where it's at. And it's shocking to me to see this. So this is where I feel like people, like Horde players on US, multiple people have told me this, by the way, like, I'm not just out here spitting random things, that Horde players go to Crusader Strike because it's the only decent Horde population that they can get their hands on. They can't get, like, they struggle to find raids and find people to play with because Horde is 3 times as bigger on Crusader Strike. And I imagine the same thing is true over here in EU, where it's almost 5 times as big. So it's just something that has occurred, and it's from the forced faction population. So this is where, could you imagine if we had 12,000 extra people on one server, or 10,000 extra people on one server to play and contribute to their factions, and you could just toggle war mode on and off? This forced faction balance doesn't matter. People can just PvP if they want to opt into it. I think that is a really good idea, and WoW, being an MMORPG, is at its best when the most people are playing it. But this is just 12,000 players that I'll never get to see or interact with in the game. Now let's look at Anniversary, where the story is a little different. It's not as severe, but overall the same story is unfolding. We see on US and EU, I wish they put these in the right way, but we see EU's PvP server, it's about 15k. We see, and for a total of 30,000, we see Night Slayer here at 27,000 with 1313, very even. But what we see is about half those players on the PvE servers, and what we see with those is a we see half the players, but we also see the population be dispersed. So it's a 60-40 split right now, but I'd imagine it'll get worse as time goes on. It's just something that is surprising to me. It's weird that Horde either only go to the popular server or Horde players only go to PvP servers, and so we see this separation. And like I said, could you imagine if we had 17,000 extra players on this 27k server, or 16,000 on this 30k? Like, that is just a massive amount of people to play the game with, enjoy it, and keep blasting. And one server with Warmode accomplishes that. And it pretty much whatever faction is the non-PvE faction gets screwed on a PvE server, and then the PvP servers are force balanced, so you don't really get a choice. Like, this will always be equal unless everyone on one faction quits, which I doubt would happen. And for everyone that always said I was crazy, these are Doomhal and Soulseeker are the hardcore realms. So as you can see, these are the hardcore numbers that factor into the anniversary numbers when I was doing the number updates. So I just wanted to highlight that and let people see that they in fact counted towards these numbers when we were doing any type of comparisons. So just wanted to make sure you guys were aware of that. But anyway, that is sort of breaking down the numbers, showing you guys the entire story, providing evidence proof onto what I see with this and why I think Warmode would be such a good idea. There's you would get almost a 1/3 to a 30 to 40% increase in your total server population if they were able to pull this off. And I really think that the people, and you can incentivize Warmode to be something that people want to go out in PvP. You can make like hotspots where there's double resources. You can make hotspots where you get double honor. Obviously, a lot of those things depend on the systems and things that they put in place for Classic Plus and how far they're going to take this. Like, we really don't know. This survey is massive and has so many choices that you can decide, and it's just like there are so many ways to incentivize Warmode that I think any negative side of your classic PvP fantasy experience that doesn't exist anymore, by the way, like I'm gonna 1v1 someone in the world while I'm questing an STV, that's not the case. That doesn't happen. You got, sure, you're thrown to the same spot, but you know what happens? Everyone calls 5 friends and they either blast you if you're the same level, or a level 60 rogue is there and just stabs you in the back over and over and over and over again until you either log off or quit. So that's what actually happens, and it's just crazy to me that people advocate for that. I think we've seen this unfold. We see Classic get lower and lower and lower every single launch. The numbers are there. It literally is staring you in the face. So to me, those are the reasons why I really think Warmode is a good idea if we have one mega server. So that's pretty much it, guys. So I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I would love to hear your arguments for why you think Warmode is bad, other than it has been 20 years and I like my PvP servers, it would kill PvP, because it wouldn't. You can incentivize it hard to go there and create real PvP events where people actually go to PvP and have good experiences doing that. So and that's pretty much it. So I hope you guys have a great day, and until next time, I'll talk to you later. Have a great day. Bye-bye. Hey, you. Yes, you. Are you still there? Well, I appreciate you for taking the time to watch this entire video and making it to the end here. If you enjoyed this video, definitely check out the other videos about World of Warcraft listed in these playlists down below. And thank you again. Have a great day. Bye-bye.